Hello and welcome to Duvar Özel. Vast majority of Ukrainians are moving west looking for safety areas, and hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian refugees were warmly welcomed by neighboring countries like Poland, Hungary, Bulgaria, and Romania. While, of course, the hospitality is appreciated, it is now discussed the severe double standards in the treatment of immigrants and the refugees from the Middle East and Syria. We will now evaluate the civilian rights and the discrimination discussed of the military operation against Ukraine with anthropologist Marcin Skupiński from University of Warsaw. Hello, Marcin, and thank you very much for joining us today.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Marcin. Thank you very much. Marcin, you are an anthropologist and you have also done some field work in Ukraine between 2011 and 2017. So let's start with my first question to understand the situation deeply at the borders. Marcin, Russia's military operation against Ukraine has created 1.5 million refugees in just 10 days. This is really, really huge. Do you think this will lead to a refugee crisis in Europe? How will or should Europe handle the Ukrainian refugees? What is your opinion?
I would say that the crisis is here already. So right now in Poland, we have already more than 1 million Ukrainian refugees, and the work is done to accommodate them, to help them best that we can. But I would say that we are approaching the limits of the capacities of civil society.
Yeah.
And so for now, a lot of, I think, like one important thing to say about how the refugee crisis was handled so far in Poland is that it was done mostly by the civil society and mostly by people themselves. So the organized response was very limited, and it was mostly done by local self-governments. So the local self-governments rushed in to help, but there is still no systematic help organized, for example, by the government. So, and as you mentioned, those are just first few days of the situation, first few days of the war in the Ukraine. So we can expect that there are going to be even more refugees coming, obviously. And I would also say there that we need definitely more organizations, although I would also argue that it's not bad that the people are organized by themselves, but certainly it's going to get more and more complicated when the time passes, and the needs of the people are going to get bigger, because like right now it's mostly like it's mostly around very basic help, so like food, accommodation, some very basic stuff. But we have the perspective of around 1 million new citizens living in Poland, and it's going to be a huge challenge for the country that haven't experienced such thing in its history yet.
Yeah, and you also said that Poland have already more than 1 million people so far, and Poland also reached the capacity, and you need more organizations. So let's have a look at the Turkey situation then, because Turkey has been the primary destination for Syrian refugees. Today, Turkey is a home nearly 4 million Syrian refugees. Turkey also got some financial support in the past to host the Syrian refugees from EU. But however, this policy has been criticized a lot, that Turkey has been a buffer zone, buffer state to prevent the migration, of Syrians to Europe. Do you think there might be a new buffer zone or a country for Europe to prevent the further migration of Ukrainian refugees? I don't know, maybe Poland or Romania be a new buffer country?
I think it's more complicated in this situation, because Poland is already a European Union country, so there is no really a buffer zone. So in this situation, people from Ukraine, they are coming directly into the European Union, and if they get the refugee status in Poland, that means they like have the same status in the other European Union countries. So in this situation, I think like definitely Poland will be still the main destination, definitely, and probably there might be some moves to actually keep majority of the Ukrainian refugees in Poland. So, but there's going to be definitely different situation than with Turkey, because like in this situation, as I mentioned, they are already passing while coming to Poland, the refugees from Ukraine are already passing the European Union border. So it's a bit different situation. There's no really a good buffer country, maybe except Moldavia, but Moldavia also is like not in a very good capacity to host a lot of refugees. And actually, I read today on the news that they already recognize that they have a problem, and they actually ask European Union for help with handling their portion of refugees, even though it's not the primary destination. And they definitely there are far more people coming to Poland, Slovakia, and Romania.
Okay, so let's have a look at the comparing Ukrainian refugee crisis with the Syrian refugee crisis, because this is the main discussion now. EU countries have laudably opened their doors to welcome the Ukrainian refugees, but people from Middle East, Africa, South Asia, they are also looking for a safe places to live in. In Aegean Sea, you know, we all know what happens, and people suffered the consequences of policies designed to keep them out of the Greek island. So what happened now? I mean, has Europe's response to refugees changed? Can we call it kind of U-turn on migrants policy? I mean, I'm just trying to ask, do you think there is a double standard here?
Unfortunately, I have to say that there is, and before the war in Ukraine started, we already experienced a serious refugee crisis in Poland on Belarus border, yeah?
Yes.
And there we had, so there were like a lot of refugees coming from the Middle East as well, and they were treated in shockingly different way than what we are experiencing now. And what I can say, discussions with friends, also in my discussions with activists who are active during both crises, there's like a really strong, I don't even know how to describe this this emotion. I have to think of it. But a lot of people, a lot of us are really sad and angry, but about like this, what you call the double standards, because we clearly see them. And it's even more striking right now as the crisis on the Belarusian border, it hasn't finished yet. So there are still people in the forests, and they're getting totally different treatment than the people coming from. And it's like ongoing situation. And we also had some informations about even people running from Ukraine who are not of Ukrainian origin. They also had some problems with crossing the border. So, and this including, for example, students from India or Africa.
Yeah.
So definitely we can say that there is a double standard applied here, and it's really a huge problem. The only thing I can see, like, which can contribute to the U-turn on the migrant policy, is that people right now, like majority of citizens in Poland, they're actually experiencing right now first-handedly how it is to help refugees, and they actually like a lot of them invited Ukrainian refugees to their homes. So it's really surprising situation to see how it evolved from the moment where phrase, "Oh, take the refugee to your own home," evolved from something that was written on the internet fora as a joke and like kind of attack on the people who are helping refugees, or like we're campaigning for helping refugees from the Middle East. So there's always this argument, oh, if you want to help them so much, take them to your own home. But now it became the reality for the majority of population. So hopefully this will contribute to the change of mindset. Yeah, so like the people will maybe understand better what is the reality of the conflict and what is to be a refugee, and they will hopefully extend this understanding not only towards Ukrainians but also other people coming to the borders of Europe, of European Union. Yeah, so that is my hope. But so far, we've seen a really difference in treating and a big difference in narrative also from the government. So that, I think that is also like something that I should mention, that the governmental policy was also completely different in handling the Belarus border crisis and what is happening right now. With right now a lot of attention being directed to fighting with fake news, to actually taking care for good and reliable coverage of the whole refugee crisis. And before, unfortunately, I have to say that the Polish government actually produced some fake news by themselves in order to justify closing the Belarusian border. So again, we can see like completely different policies being put in work on the governmental level, on the national level as
and
well.
You said that there is definitely a double standard on the border when it comes to refugees. So finally, I would like to ask you one more question. How will this change the EU refugee policies from now on? What will be your comment?
All right, that's probably the most complicated question so far, because I am not an expert on the European policies. Yeah, so it's really hard for me to to foresee what might happen in future. So far, we can see definitely the change in attitude, especially toward Ukrainian refugees. So we can hope for better European policies, and hopefully we will see in the future more solidarity, because actually when the refugee crisis started in the Mediterranean, there were some good ideas created in European Union about like relocation of the refugees, some equal quotas for the countries, but some countries didn't want to join, like Poland, for example.
Yeah.
So I hope that this situation we are facing right now will be a bit like a bucket of cold water on the heads of European leaders, especially in the countries like Poland that were previously not so open toward accepting refugees, to actually change something and to see that the solidarity can work both ways. So now maybe Western Europe will help us with handling the crisis, hopefully, but hopefully also Eastern European countries will be in future more open to also open their borders for the refugees, for example, from Syria and other places in the Middle East. That would be my hope, at least.
And you said that we can hope a better European policies, European refugee policies in the future. Thank you, Marcin, for joining us today on Duvar Özel. We really appreciate your time. As we come to the end of another broadcast, we also thank you, our viewers, for watching us. Bye for now.